What's up, guys? You're back with the Comic Lads. Something a little different. We're going to be talking about Marvel Spider-Man 2 for the PS5 and just talking about what we want to see from the game, because there's a lot of stuff we want to see from the game.
There's a lot. There's so much more potential with this game. It seems bigger, it seems better, and these are just some things that we want to see included.
Yep.
The biggest thing for me, and I think it's also one of the biggest things for you that we want to see, is a more immersive world. Playing through the Arkham games, they kind of set the standard and set the bar. I feel
All roads lead back to the Arkham games.
no, literally all superhero games have some. They all have something to thank from the Arkham games.
Yeah,
I feel.
if it's a good game at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's so many things already borrowed from the Arkham trilogy, quadrilogy, depending on who you're asking.
Sure.
From the first game, and one of the biggest things we want to see is a more rich world that feels more lived in.
Agreed.
I think Marvel Spider-Man 1 on PS4, like, you're in New York, so of course there's life there, but it's missing that kind of history that the Arkham games had, and just the little details, like,
Agreed.
you know, an Arkham Knight walking through a militia base and seeing a little Ray Palmer, Adam,
On the locker.
you know, little graphic on the locker, you know, just showcasing that, like, these little details contribute to a more lived-in world.
Yeah, it shows that you have a history and that it's not just like only Spider-Man that lives in this New York, as if it's like Raimi Spider-Man or something. No, I want to feel like that the Avengers are actually here, that the Fantastic Four is here.
Yeah.
I want to see the Baxter Building, you know? I want to walk by actually like Nelson and Murdoch and not have it just be like a sign on the door, you know? I want to like...
Yeah, and I want to see details that aren't part of overworld collectibles. You know what I mean? Like, I think the backpacks, probably there'd be a big argument like, oh, well, they have the backpacks, like, that's basically the same thing.
Yeah, but like those are like a checklist. They're not, it's not organic. You're not like discovering this stuff.
You want to feel like characters, both villains and heroes, have been places and left their marks. Even if it's something as simple as, like, you go to a crime scene and you see some detectives talking about, like, you know, a guy in a red suit that was flipping over things, and then there's like a giant fiery, like, Daredevil symbol at the crime scene.
I want that. I just want that, you know? And like, I want Marvel characters in this freaking game, dude. Like, I want characters that aren't just in Spider-Man's, like, main sphere of characters. I want to see Daredevil. I want to see Reed Richards. Like, if you're gonna do a game about the symbiote, I want to go talk to Mr. Fantastic and have him tell me what this thing is, you know?
Yeah.
I want Human Torch to appear. I want to maybe see Iron Man. I want to see, like, and this is like not hard. I'm not saying I want to play as these
For
characters.
sure not.
Just put them in there.
And it can even, just to tie also back to the Easter eggs, they can be incorporated in subtle ways too.
Yeah.
You could be like swinging through New York, see like a TV box that has footage of, like, you know, Iron Man shooting off into the clouds and, you know, in the Middle East or around the world. Just little things like that.
You could swing by and see like a place has been shot up and there's bullet holes and they're like talking about, oh, some dude like the Punisher was maybe here or something. I don't know. It's just easy stuff, dude,
Yeah.
that you can make part of the map.
Yeah, and aside from like the Avengers Tower, which is a very in-your-face Easter egg,
Yeah.
I think something more along the lines of what we're looking for are more of those subtle Easter eggs that you really have to be looking at the world to pick up on.
Yeah.
Like in Arkham with the Ray Palmer little Easter egg, or the Scarecrow mask, a little detail that, you know, if your eyes are just glazing over the screen, you're going to completely miss, but if you're actually looking for them, you will find.
Exactly. Next big thing that I'm looking for in this game, I know you want to see it too, is like good boss battles, because I'm sorry, they were so sleepy. They're like, in the first game, like, they're like Super Mario boss battles, dude. Like, there's no way you're losing any of these fights.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you didn't first try Vulture or an Electro or like Doc Ock. Like, they're all joke fights. I'm sorry.
They are.
They don't make you like have to learn any cool moves. Like, I don't know. Like, I want them to take a page out of From Software's book and like look at some Elden Ring bosses and like actually see like what it takes to actually make an intuitive boss fight. Make like some cool moves. Make me actually have to think and have to use different gadgets and stuff in my arsenal instead of just like
Agreed.
doing the same move and like like webbing up Vulture like 6 times to hit him and like press triangle. Like,
Yeah, and so many of the boss fights in the first game revolved around just using L1, R1, and picking up an object that the villain is throwing at you and throwing it back at them.
I'm like, these are Lego boss fights.
Lego boss fights, and also is just like, you know, we love the first game, but it almost feels like a bit of a disservice to the villains themselves too, because it's like, okay, even when finishing the final boss fight of Spider-Man 1, which is Doc Ock,
Yeah.
something about me didn't even feel like I got the accomplishment of beating him, because it was just so brain dead simple. You know, web him up with your web gadgets, hit him a bunch of times.
And then you throw like the rock that he throws at you back at him. I'm like sleeping.
And it looks great. Like, don't get me wrong.
It looks good.
The cinematics, and especially when you're fighting on the side of the building and your web shooters are blown out, it looks
part's
great.
awesome. Yeah.
It looks awesome, but it's not enough to trick you into thinking that it's a good boss fight just
not.
because the visuals are great.
What's not like I want to be challenged a bit by these games. Like, if I'm gonna put it on hard difficulty, like I want a challenge. I want to see some really, really intuitive, creative boss fights in this one.
Agreed.
Yep.
The next thing we really want to see are actual side missions with real Marvel characters, just to tie back into our previous point.
Please, dude.
But not just the heroes, also more villains.
More villains, because dude, we got one side mission. Again, like we said, all roads lead back to Arkham. I want to stumble upon an alley and see like some dude with like bite marks in his neck, and like, oh, here's the start of like a weird like little Morbius side mission, you know?
100%.
Stuff like that.
And you know what's funny is that the one side mission in the first game that involved an actual supervillain, being Tombstone,
Yeah.
talking with you and other people that played the game, collectively everyone agrees that that is the best side mission.
It's the only one.
You know what I mean? Because I'm sorry, in terms of featuring heroes and villains, I never want to think of Screwball ever again.
Oh my god. Oh, that's a whole point for this video. No more Screwball at all. No more.
No more Screwball, please.
Jesus. Yeah, continue.
And, you know, besides that one, like you said, like, I like the friendly neighborhood kind of side missions that were in there. I want them to still keep those, you know, like helping the guy with his pigeons and all that. Like, I like those. That feels very Spider-Man to me.
Sure.
But I also want a healthy mix of actual villains and side quests that you can go on and discover these different stories with these different characters and help with this overall enriching of the world.
Absolutely. Like, Spider-Man has the #2, and you can argue he has the #1 rogues gallery in comics. Use them. Show me them. You know? Screwball?
But that was such a miss, honestly.
I don't get it. Another thing that you brought up that I actually think is a great point is I really don't want to lose the black suit by the end of the game. Like, even if like you do in the story, like, please just let me wear it still and like use like the moves, because like, I don't know, I don't want to go through the entire game and have like a God of War thing where like, oh, I had so much fun playing as Atreus, and then like post game you can't play as him.
I mean, I feel like if they do that, they might just pull like oh, well, we want you to feel addicted to the black suit, so when you lose it, it's like an addiction. But like for me, it's just like, if you're gonna introduce a cool gameplay mechanic and build up all this hype, you know, even from the first game, they said they didn't want to include the black suit because they wanted their own game to be able to do it.
Story, yeah.
Exactly. If you're gonna do all this, I really hope it's not the case where it's like, okay, well, you have it for about 60% of the game, and then it goes to someone else.
Yeah, and then you have to free roam without it and have these like stupid spider arms instead. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. The next thing we really want/don't want to see,
Please.
is while we're playing having to question if Peter and MJ are going to end up together by the end of the game.
I just don't want that at all, dude.
Yeah, and I think just solely, you know, like Spider-Man and in a lot of his stories throughout the years, it's been this plot point, and I think at this point it's a bit old, especially considering the whole first game. Most of the heart of that story is just seeing Peter and MJ come back together after having 6 months or whatever apart.
You're just rooting for them to get back together, and now like, if there's no sign of this, we're not like calling out the game or anything, but like, please don't make them be like, oh, they're gonna break up again, because if they break up again, I'm like, don't get back together.
Yeah.
Call Black Cat instead.
Yeah.
at this point, you know?
Yeah, and I think whatever Peter goes through in this game, obviously I think it's going to create tension between them, but I don't want it to be to the point where she's going to abandon him and be like, oh, weird asshole suddenly. Like, I don't want that. I want MJ to be supportive no matter what. Obviously, like, if he turns into Bully Maguire, that's not, like, the best case. Maybe not no matter what.
Not no matter what, but, like, assuming he doesn't, like, backhand her, like, don't leave.
Yeah, and I want
like
her...
going through like the most trying thing in his like whole career as Spider-Man. Like we're gonna have her like dip.
Exactly. Whatever happens with the black suit, I want her to be there rooting for the actual Peter to come back.
He needs her. He doesn't have Aunt May anymore. He has no one to fall back on.
Yeah.
Especially if like Miles is the one fighting him. Like he's gonna need her, and if she leaves, like,
Agreed.
I'm so not down. Last thing we want to see, no more MJ missions.
Oh.
Every time I replay the game and I get to the friggin' like sneaking around and like, it's over.
Yeah.
I'm playing The Witcher instead, or like Elden Ring. Like I can't do it.
Well, that's our list, guys. Please let us know your thoughts and comment what things you're looking forward to seeing and hope to be seeing in the upcoming Spider-Man 2 game.
Yeah.
We got a lot more videos covering this game coming up, so if you want to see them, please subscribe and like and comment, and we're the Comic Lads, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching, guys.